There are a lot of British stereotypes out there. You've got the loud, you've got the quiet. I don't know much about stereos, to be honest. That's the end of my list. I don't know a lot about sound, but if that sounds weird to you, it's because you're new here. Hi, welcome back to this. Speaking of this, I think it'd be really cool if instead of just welcome back to my channel or something, why don't we do something community-based? You guys throw some suggestions in the comment section, and every week we'll have a different intro. Welcome to blah. That's the format. Don't make me say blah. Also, if you couldn't tell because you had a brain fart during the first 2 seconds of this video, or I don't know, maybe you can't read. I'm not judging. The title's right there. Today's video is about stereotypes about Britain. Also, today's video is sponsored by Honey, so look forward to more information on that in the middle of the video. Before I get into this, I'm genuinely curious. I've got a bottle of squash here, which is like a British liquid Kool-Aid, and for some reason, I've never seen this on any other product in the UK, or anywhere rather. The very top, there's a little stamp, and it says, "By appointment to Her Majesty the Queen, manufacturers of fruit juices and soft drinks." Does the Queen like this squash so much that she's like, yeah, this is my juice? Someone tell me, I genuinely have never heard of this before. Also, before we get into it, I know that meditation might not be everyone's cup of tea, but I really poured my heart and soul into the video I made last week. It was something very different than what I normally make. I had a lot of different cuts and editing techniques that I was trying out, and basically, if you haven't seen it yet, I'd really appreciate you check it out, because yeah, I really liked it, and I hope you do too. It's got a chill vibe, it's very different, very personal, but otherwise, yes, let's get into it. So before moving to the UK, I had heard so many different stereotypes about British people, about British food, about British life, really. Now, a lot of these are stereotypes in the generic sense in that everyone says them. They don't necessarily need to be based on much. It's just, hey, that's what I heard. Now, I could have decided to just talk about the standard generic stereotypes that everyone kind of has already heard of, but rather than that, I asked you guys on my community tab, so thanks for subscribing and ringing that bell to be part of this community. You guys gave me all the real stereotypes about Britain that maybe I haven't heard of. So the first one, the most top voted one here on my community tab is, all Welsh people can speak Welsh. I've never actually heard that stereotype in my life. I do have a Welsh friend that can speak Welsh, Kim, but I'm pretty sure I remember Kim telling me that the Welsh people that speak Welsh live in the north of Wales, like, you know, I don't want to say it, but the valley? That's a stereotype, isn't it? The Welsh people in the valley. I've been up north to Caernarfon. There's a castle up there. It was pretty nice. I had a lot of Caernarfon fun. Horrible, horrible. Next up, we've got polite, but passive aggressive. Like, we won't actually say anything if you push into a queue, but you will be tutted at. That is a stereotype that I feel like I experience a lot of times. I remember at one point, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, this drunk woman like cut in front of me in the queue that I'd been waiting in for like 10 minutes. And yes, I'm not British, I'm American, but yet I've adopted these customs, and so I just loudly, passive aggressively like talked about her to my friend, like, well, at least some people understand queues. Do some people not have manners? I wish I were joking. That's genuinely what I did. She was too drunk to realize it, really. But that said, I have experienced multiple times in which people have called out assumed Americans for cutting the queue and been like, hey, queue's back there, starts back there, get on back. But most of the time, to be honest, I find that stereotype pretty true. That the only accents that exist are the Queen and Dick Van Dyke from Mary Poppins. Where's the lie? I mean, in terms of accents that Americans can understand, that makes a lot of sense. You do have like the very esteemed posh accent, and then you have, how's it going, Mary Poppins? You know, that's the type of like British character that we see in American media. So don't blame us, blame the media. Media men beg to differ, judging by the hole in the satellite picture. And the eyes we skate. Is that Smash Mouth? We actually have better teeth than Americans, it's proven. So the stereotype that British people have wonky teeth is like one of the most repeated stereotypes about the culture, I think. I don't know why. It's one of those things where no matter what cartoon you're watching, if there is a British person, he is depicted with crazy teeth. Now, I guess if I'm trying to think of where that comes from, I know that personally as an American, I had braces growing up, but then again, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm fairly certain that when you're younger than the age of 18, you get free dentistry under the NHS. Actually, before I spout something I don't know, I'm going to call my flatmate. Social distancing, he's not allowed in my room.
Hello?
Noah.
Yes?
Hello, I just wanted to know if you know, do you get free dentistry before the age of 18 in here, in this country?
Yeah.
So you could just get braces for free?
Yeah.
You don't have wonky teeth?
I do have wonky teeth.
Okay, so you fit the stereotype. Thank you very much. Okay, so maybe that wasn't the best sample set. But there you go, just so you know, if you're before the age of 18, you actually can get free braces and free work done to your teeth. But from my own personal experience, I haven't really noticed that much of a difference between the number of wonky teethed people in the US and the UK. I don't think it's down to that. Talk about the weather too much. I genuinely think this is a true stereotype. I think that's because I've adapted, but when I don't know what to talk about, if we're in that small talk phase, I don't really know you, we just met through a friend of a friend. Wow, we've had like 8 straight days of sun. Have you guys noticed that? It's been really nice ever since we got into that's just where the conversation goes. You talk about the weather, whether you don't know what to talk about or not. Is that a UK-centric thing? Maybe. Bad food. British food is delicious. Cornish pasties, fish and chips, Knickerbocker glory, Victoria sponge, sticky toffee pudding. The list goes on and on and on. What the frick is a Knickerbocker glory? That sounds like something you do in a bathroom that you don't tell anyone about. Knickerbocker glory. So I went to the UK the other day, finally visited. They have toilet stalls with no gaps. Was finally able to experience a true Knickerbocker glory. I love a Cornish pasty. When you get a fish and chips at a good pub, oh, nothing better. Or you get a nice pie, like a steak and kidney pie or something like that. Oh man, you know what's great about all 3 of those things? They all taste roughly the same. I might be crazy, but I find that it's all this similar taste. The British cuisine, it's kind of like just pub food. It's not even all pub food, but I just feel like that's the word I want to use to describe it. Is it bad? No, it's got its own thing. But I think I can understand why people might not like it. Maybe I should try one of those Knickerbocker glories sometime. Give me a ring. In the countryside, we all wear tweed and go out shooting pheasants with our servants and our posh friends. A lot of countryside people have a lot of stereotypes I've never heard of. I wouldn't have thought that in the slightest. I've been to the countryside in the UK. I ain't seen no pheasants. Or tweed. It did smell a bit of tweed without the tea, you know what I'm saying? We're not all obsessed with the royal family. I actually can't name many of them. To be honest, I get the names of all the royals confused because I'm not British and I know like Queen Elizabeth II. There's a prince. There's a couple princes. One of them is bald and old. The other one's bald, not that old. And another one looks a bit like he's got red hair. He's a ginger. You know, we've got a Philip. We've got a George. That's a prince name. Charlotte, no. Prince Charles, that's a prince. That's a prince. So I've got those down. But to be honest, when that recent royal wedding happened, everyone in my house sat down in the living room and watched the live stream. Maybe that's just everyone in my living room, but I'm pretty sure I heard that Americans really ate that stuff up way more than the UK. They say the royal family brings in a lot of tourism money. Okay, not everyone from Essex is a chav. All right, it's fine. I've been to Essex a couple times, Chelmsford, Baz Vegas, as I say. Every time I went on my train back, loads of drunken singing. I don't know if that's a chavvy thing. There's a lot of gold chains in this train. I don't know. It's just my personal experience. Is that true that not everyone from Essex is a chav? Absolutely. It's a generalization, it's a stereotype. But I don't know. Me, innocently talking about stereotypes in a video. Me, gets canceled. Unnecessary me. I'm unnecessary. We all love a cup of tea, and Scottish people are all meant to be from Glasgow. I have met so many British people in my life that do not like tea, and that surprises me, because when I moved here, that's when I started drinking tea, and I started appreciating tea more. But yeah, I find that that is a, I guess, outdated stereotype. So many people I know drink coffee and really don't like tea. The fact that I've offered tea to people and they've turned it down. Whoa, that is a bit rude. Okay, first of all, don't do that. Genuine question though, which do you find it more impolite to do? To turn down an offer for tea or to not drink the tea that's made for you? Personally, I'm gonna go for the not drink it now that I think about it, because I'm like, what? Was it not good enough? Was it not up to your expert lips? In terms of all Scottish people being from Glasgow, I've not really heard that. I think I've heard that all Scottish people are from the Highlands, obviously as a joke, but it makes sense if most Scottish people live like in Edinburgh or Glasgow or like that surrounding area. If most of the population is based there, it's a stereotype based on, I guess, statistics. Sheep everywhere in Wales. I'm from Wales, and it's so annoyingly untrue. Well, maybe it's untrue because you keep taking them off the fields and bringing them into your house, Benjamin. No, that's the stereotype. Everyone has that stereotype that, you know, Welsh people do things with sheep you shouldn't do. You know, obviously, that's just a joke at this point. No one really believes that. I think the Australians say the same thing about Kiwis. That being said, when I stayed in a lovely cottage in North Wales, there were sheep everywhere, just wandering around. They were around the farm outside the house. They got around the gate. They were on the road. There was just a lot of sheep. So maybe it depends on where you're from. Obviously, if you're in Cardiff, you're not going to see sheep everywhere. One stereotype about British people that I definitely believe that I haven't seen you guys comment much on is that British people really enjoy integrated advertising. Yeah, it's true. I like to save money in as many different ways as possible. I'm one of those people that when I put something in my shopping cart and I get to the final page and it has that little thing at the end that says voucher code, I treat that as a challenge, okay? At this point, I'm gonna spend a half hour of my life going to all these different websites, find a voucher. This one worked? No, this one's expired in 2014. What the frick? And then I try and put anything in, try to save any money. And you know what? A lot of time that doesn't actually work. Thank you to the video sponsor, Honey. Don't have to do that anymore. Honey is a free browser extension that saves you loads of money by automatically applying these vouchers for you at checkout for over 30,000 different sites. The other day, I was buying a new gimbal so I could have some Steadicam shots for some future videos. Honey popped up, little dancing coin in the corner. Happy day for me. Turns out the company had a Twitter voucher, saved me 20 pounds. 20 pounds! So when Honey reached out to me to sponsor this video, I was like, heck yes, I freaking love Honey. If you want to join the Pooh Bear community, that's not what they're called. They're gonna make me cut this out. Go to joinhoney.com/Evan. Don't slash me, but go to joinhoney.com/Evan. Simple, all you have to do is install it to your browser, bam, don't even think about it. It runs in the background when you go into a website, add things to your cart, look forward to that little dancing coin, bam, apply those vouchers, save some money, you can thank me later. So yeah, big shout out to Honey for sponsoring today's video. Yeah, like I said, you guys seem to really enjoy integrated advertising. I think that's based on truth, to be honest. Not everyone in Scotland eats haggis or drinks iron brew. Also, we don't all live in London. So many Scottish people around the world moved to London, so I guess it makes sense that you're like, oh, you're from Scotland, but now you're in London. Personally, I know a lot of Scottish people that now live in London, because that's where I live. That makes sense. But on the haggis and iron brew front, I do feel like Scottish people are very proud of their iron brew consumption. Correct me if I'm wrong, Scots, but I'm pretty sure iron brew is like the top most consumed drink in Scotland, above all other drinks, which supposedly is a record-breaking thing. It's more than Coke and stuff. Well, maybe not that type of Coke. I mean, I've heard a lot about the hills of Scotland. Ugh, I should not Glasgow there. He done deed it. Everyone has afternoon tea with scones. Personally, that is, to me, a luxury. So when I want to go out, do something super fancy as like a fancy date, or if an American is here and they're like, I want to experience Britain, I'm like, here we go. We do this every day. And I take them out for afternoon tea. And that's the only time I've really done it. I don't know anyone ever that I know that has afternoon tea semi-regularly at all. So, stereotype, probably not a thing. That British is an accent and Britain is a country. Well, Great Britain is the island, the United Kingdom is the country, but yes, you do all have one accent. It's just this one. Hello, this is how you sound. Every once in a while I'll slip into this and I'll get 1,000 comments like, haha, did anyone else notice at 10:46 when he said the with a bit of a British T? Ha, ha, ha. I don't know why Mickey Mouse is watching my videos. But yeah, my accent's fluid at this point. It's mostly American with a bit of a twang. Schools are just Hogwarts. Listen, I think we all need to be a bit more honest with the American people that are watching my videos. It's true. British schools are just like Hogwarts. I feel like the more I reread Harry Potter, the more I realize, what the heck, that's something the UK has. Even just now, I was reading book 5 again in German, natürlich, and I got to this part where they talk about the owls, the owl exams. That's just the A-levels. Come on, it's literally A-level. The whole prefects things, the whole head of house, the whole team colors and all this nonsense. All I'm trying to say is there's a lot more truth to it than you're letting on. It's UK school is a magical place. People who live in Cornwall and the Southwest always go to the beach. What else would you do? I feel like if I lived near a beach, I would always go to the beach too. I mean, every summer as a kid, we went to the beach like once a week. It was like an hour drive away, because we couldn't. It's a nice beach. I'm sure people in Cornwall love going to the beach when they're not farming. My only experience with like Western English culture is, I'm pretty sure from Hot Fuzz, where there's that scene with the farmer who's like, oh, I need to go on a break, whatever. I couldn't understand what he was saying. Maybe I should just visit Cornwall. Crumpets. Why does everyone think we constantly eat crumpets? Like, yes, they're British, but I don't think they're a particularly common thing that we eat. We call them English muffins where I'm from. And to be honest, that is just one of those things that you say when you're trying to pretend to be British, like, oh, hello, I'm going to have some tea and crumpets. I don't know why that's the thing that we as Americans have latched onto, tea and crumpets. I think I've had like 3 crumpets since moving to the UK. It's just, you're right, it's not really a big thing over here. They're really nice, but also so is everything else. I don't know. That we have one accent. I don't understand how people can say the British accent. So I've thought about this, and I think it's because even though there are loads of different intricate versions of the accent within the UK, they all have a similar like flair to them that makes them iconically British. Obviously, like I said, there's so many different types. Just like there are lots of types of American accent, but you can definitely tell when someone is an American depending on where they're from. Sure, you might not be able to say where exactly in America, but you'll know that they are American based on the way that they pronounce certain syllables. Same as in the UK, where there's certain syllables and certain words where you'll be like, I don't know where you're from in the UK, but you've got a British accent. I don't think it should be offensive that a foreigner doesn't know your exact accent down to your county in Hertfordshire or something. British. It's easier to say. Instead of being upset that they refer to your accent as British, just inform them. Have a nice conversation. Be like, well, actually, you might find my accent's from Liverpool. And that's not how any Liverpudlian sounds, but I can't do accents. That we love to queue for everything and that we are specialists at it. This is a true stereotype. I've been to so many different countries and so many different airport queues, and you know who does it the best? You guys in the UK. You just know how. It's part of your culture. You stand in a queue and you know how to do it well. Sure, there are some outlier people, but you guys have even built that system into the underground with the whole stand on the right, walk on the left. Like, think about it. Think how many countries you've been to that don't have that system. You miss it. You miss it when you get off the plane somewhere and you're like, oh, why aren't they walking up the left side? And then it turns out, what was that? Turns out they don't do that in many other countries. The Brits just love to queue, as I'm sure they know because they've already queued up a lot of my videos in their watch queue, right? Not that? Okay. Everyone's an alcoholic, especially the Scottish. That's not true. It's only most of them. Yeah, this is one of those stereotypes that I'm assuming is based on the fact that when you visit the UK from another country that doesn't have as strong a drinking culture, you might be surprised and think, wow, everyone is alcoholic. I remember when I first moved to the UK, one of the sights that I saw a lot was a lot of people dressed up in suits with their ties loosened, just drunk in the streets at 1:30 in the morning. I thought that was weird. I was like, whoa, what are you guys, wow, it's just 1:30 in the morning, y'all are boozing it up? So I'd say it's partially true. The stereotype of Birmingham always being bad is false. Well, I mean, I've only been there a handful of times, maybe like 2, and of those 2 times, 50% of the times, I was nearly mugged. My own personal experience. Take that what you will. I'm sure it's got a nice side. The bull ring is nice. I'd rather visit Walsall. We never learn foreign languages. We just speak English, but louder and slower. That's also the case where I'm from. The US and the UK, we speak English. Majority speaking, and also the media that we consume is English, and also the internet is mostly English. And so for the most part, we don't really need to learn a foreign language. I love learning foreign languages. It's very fun to me. And also, if you're bored, you got nothing else to do during this quarantine, hey, 15 minutes a day and then you can join other people and fight that stereotype. Very general and not entirely accurate. Polite. Actually, I found that most British people I've met are polite, and if I ask for something like, could you give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it, or subscribe because I make new videos every Sunday, ring my bell, a lot of cool stuff like that, I find most people do that. Especially in the UK, so. But that about does it for today's video. Hope you've enjoyed it. If I missed out on any stereotypes, then please leave them in the comment section below. And also don't forget the intro thing. Welcome to, we'll see what we do. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one. Watch these if you want. Goodbye.